Ironing out the logistics of your move can be a headache, so let Behringer Moving and Storage handle it for you. Visit BehringerMoving.com.
I'm Ralph Mangum here on the WHKY News. Let's take a look back now at some of the top crime stories we had for you during the week of July 21st through July 25th. Here we go now.
Police say the suspect in this case assaulted another individual by striking them with a gun. The suspect was apprehended in Caldwell County and was placed in the Caldwell County Detention Center following their arrest. 44-year-old Jason Scott Inman was arrested Sunday by Morganton Public Safety. He's charged with felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill and assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. Inman is also charged with assault by pointing a gun, communicating threats, carrying a concealed weapon, and going armed to the terror of the public. Shortly after 9 a.m. Sunday, officers responded to UNC Help Blue Ridge in Morganton in reference to an armed male subject who had assaulted a female visitor. Security notified officers of the last known location of the suspect, who was seen exiting the front of the hospital and walking down from the parking deck. Further investigation revealed that both the suspect and victim were visitors of the same patient when the altercation occurred. According to the victim and witness statements, the suspect, identified as Inman, drew a handgun and pointed it at the victim while making threats. Inman then allegedly began to strike the female victim in the head with the handgun, causing head trauma that required treatment. Inman then fled from the hospital. With assistance from Caldwell County authorities, he was taken into custody at a Lenoir address. He was placed in the Caldwell County Detention Center in Lenoir following the arrest under $150,000 bond. As of the time I'm filing this report, no Burke County court dates were listed. You can get more details on this case in this story at our website, WHKY.com. Reporting for WHKY News, this is Rob Eastwood.
A woman charged with assaulting children at a daycare in Conover is serving a sentence of just over a week in the Catawba County detention facility. According to our news partner WACB, the defendant entered a plea in court last week, resulting in the jail time. As WHKY previously reported, 30-year-old Kaylee Elizabeth Gamble of Newton was arrested in February and charged with assaulting more than a dozen children while employed at the Woodlawn Baptist Church Development Center. Some of the incidents were said to have been captured on video. Last Thursday, July 17th, Gamble entered a plea of guilty to 8 counts of assault on a child under the age of 12. She was ordered to serve 8 days in jail, followed by 18 months of supervised probation. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY News.
30-year-old Taylor Adele Snook of Taylorsville has entered a plea on a charge of second-degree murder. In Alexander County Superior Court Thursday, Snook was granted a plea agreement. She will serve 166 to 212 months in prison. The conviction is in connection with the death of 39-year-old Timothy Crane. Crane was found stabbed to death in December 2022 in the home he shared with Snook in the Ellendale community. Snook was taken into custody at the scene. 40-year-old William Leon Allen of Red Oak Drive in Statesville has been arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers on 10 counts of felony second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Events leading to Allen's arrest began on June 2nd of this year when the Sheriff's Office received a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children regarding the possible download and possession of child pornography by a person in Iredell County. Detectives identified the suspect as William Leon Allen. Search warrants were executed on various social media apps and websites. Evidence indicated that Allen utilized social media to send and receive photographs and videos of child pornography. Warrants for Allen's arrest were issued. On July 18th, a search warrant was executed at Allen's residence. Detectives seized evidence from the home, including electronic devices that could be used to store child sexual abuse material. Allen was taken into custody and placed in the Iredell County Detention Center under a $100,000 secured bond. No court dates are currently listed. The investigation is ongoing. Additional charges may be forthcoming. And 49-year-old Joshua Kyle Wright of Candler, North Carolina, was arrested by Hickory police Friday on a felony warrant as a fugitive awaiting extradition to another state. Wright is wanted by the Douglas County Sheriff's Office in Georgia for aggressive driving and hit and run. Wright was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under a $200,000 secured bond. An appearance in district court was set for July 21st in Newton.
That officer is a lieutenant with the Newton Police Department. Following the incident last month, Newton Police turned the case over to state officials who presented their findings to the district attorney's office, resulting in the indictment of the officer. He was being held here at the Catawba County Detention Facility in Newton without bond. 28-year-old Carlos Alberto Uribe of Spencer Road Northeast, Conover, was arrested Monday by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. He is charged on an indictment with second-degree murder. The SBI was requested by the Newton Police Department to investigate an officer-involved shooting that occurred June 26th. On that date, officers with the Newton Police Department initiated a traffic stop on a motorcycle for multiple violations. The driver failed to stop, resulting in a pursuit that concluded in Conover with a collision between the motorcycle and a patrol vehicle. During an altercation that followed the crash, an officer discharged their firearm, fatally wounding the driver. The deceased was identified as 21-year-old Camden Schuyler Childers of Stanley, North Carolina. Newton Police immediately requested the SBI conduct an independent investigation. Following that probe, the SBI disseminated its findings to the district attorney for review. As a result, a true bill of indictment was returned on Monday for Newton Police Lieutenant Carlos Uribe. In accordance with departmental policy, he remains on administrative leave without pay. The Newton Police Department's internal administrative investigation is continuing. Uribe was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility here in Newton without bond as he awaited a Tuesday court appearance. Reporting from the Catawba County Justice Center, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News. The defendant in this case received a minimum prison sentence of close to 2 years. He was charged with firing a gun at several people near downtown Winston-Salem in December of last year. According to published reports, 21-year-old Javen Shane Helton of Conover made a false allegation to Winston-Salem police. According to the prosecutor in the case, he told police that he fired his gun to defend himself from black people trying to rob him. Helton pleaded guilty to 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, 3 counts of assault by pointing a gun, going armed to the terror of people, and injury to personal property. Judge Penn Broyhill of Forsyth Superior Court sentenced Helton to serve 1 year, 10 months to 3 years in prison and ordered him to pay more than $830 in restitution. Broyhill did give Helton credit for the 7 months he spent in the Forsyth County Jail while awaiting his court hearing. So once again, the defendant in this case received a sentence of 1 year, 10 months to 3 years in prison. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
51-year-old Jonathan William Rosenbaum of Conover was sentenced to serve 6 to 8 years in prison following his conviction on drug charges and possession of a firearm by a felon. A Henderson County judge handed down the sentence during Catawba County Superior Court Monday. Rosenbaum pleaded guilty to possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver methamphetamine, maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for a controlled substance, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Rosenbaum's sentence was enhanced by 2 prior felony convictions for possession of a firearm by a felon and a conviction for maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for a controlled substance, all in Catawba County. The offenses occurred in February of this year. Rosenbaum had a warrant for his arrest when officers located his vehicle in a residential area. Eventually, the vehicle stopped in the middle of a neighborhood road. Deputies identified the driver as Rosenbaum. A K-9 unit alerted to the presence of narcotics in the vehicle. Deputies searched the vehicle, leading to the discovery of multiple drugs and a Taurus handgun. Deputy William Snyder handled the investigation for the Catawba County Sheriff's Office.
3 suspects have been arrested on felony drug charges following an investigation. 44-year-old Javon Dante Sherrill, 19-year-old Maisie Ann Smith, and 22-year-old Joseph Clayton Thornton, all of Statesville, were arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers. They are all charged with 2 felony counts of possession with intent to sell or deliver Schedule II controlled substance, along with misdemeanor counts of possession of marijuana paraphernalia, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Sherrill is additionally charged with felony maintaining a dwelling or place for controlled substance. A multi-week investigation conducted by the Iredell County Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division and aggressive criminal enforcement deputies has resulted in the arrest of 3 individuals on drug-related charges following complaints from local business owners near the Hallmark Inn on Davie Avenue in Statesville. Concerned business owners in the area reported unusually high foot traffic and vehicle traffic, raising suspicion of ongoing criminal activity. In response, the sheriff's office launched targeted surveillance operations focused on the property. During the investigation, detectives saw activity consistent with illegal narcotics use and distribution. The individuals under surveillance were identified as the 3 suspects. All 3 suspects were placed in the Iredell County Detention Center without bond. They are all scheduled to appear in district court on August 13th. I'm Ariana Mack reporting for WHKY News.
Details on the plea agreement in this case were released on Tuesday. There were 2 individuals who were found deceased in this case. They were found at a location in Statesville in November of 2023. 30-year-old Kaylin O'Brien Brandon pled guilty to several charges on July 7th. Those charges include death by distribution and involuntary manslaughter in connection to the 2023 overdose deaths of 33-year-old Brittany Peace and 35-year-old Heather Wilson, both of Statesville. On November 1st of 2023, shortly after 11 a.m., the Statesville Police Department responded to a call to assist Iredell County EMS at the 1100 block of South Meeting Street in response to 2 unconscious females. Upon arrival, both individuals, identified as Brittany Peace and Heather Wilson, were pronounced deceased by EMS. Upon initial investigation of the scene, officers found narcotics and drug paraphernalia in the bedroom where Peace and Wilson were found. In response to these findings, the Statesville Police Department narcotics investigators initiated a probe into the case. Evidence collected at the scene led investigators to Brandon, who was taken into custody later that day. Brandon was sentenced by Superior Court Judge Lisa Johnson Tompkins to a maximum of 12 years in prison. He is serving his sentence at the Craven Correctional Institution in Vanceboro, North Carolina. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
33-year-old Carissa Lynn Lockbaum of Hickory was sentenced to 6 to 8 years in prison after she pleaded guilty to trafficking fentanyl and concealing or failing to report a death. She'll also be required to pay a mandatory $500,000 fine. A Henderson County judge handed down the sentence during Catawba County Superior Court Tuesday. In January 2024, Longview police investigated a case in which a female victim was found deceased in a vehicle in the parking lot at an apartment complex. Lockbaum had knowledge of the female's death but did not take any action to report it. 4 months later, Catawba County deputies arrested Lockbaum after a traffic stop turned up fentanyl and a handgun. More drugs were found in her hotel room. Assistant District Attorney Taylor Rockett handled the prosecution with aid from legal assistant Brittany Ulsimer. 41-year-old Tony Lynn Ford of Boone has been arrested and charged with 10 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. On July 22nd, Boone Police, Watauga County Sheriff's officers, and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation conducted an investigation regarding the possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material. Those agencies are members of the North Carolina Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. The investigation led to Ford's arrest. He was jailed under a $250,000 secured bond with an appearance in court scheduled for September 17. 45-year-old David Ray Carswell and 68-year-old Patrice Steele Fox, both from Taylorsville, have been charged with multiple drug offenses, including trafficking in methamphetamine. They both face a number of additional charges, including possession of a firearm by a felon and resisting an officer. This morning, Alexander County Sheriff's officers, in coordination with officers from several other agencies, executed a search warrant at a residence on Bolick Lane in Taylorsville. As officers approached, a vehicle fled the scene and headed directly toward the officers. In response, several officers discharged their service weapons at the vehicle. The suspect continued to drive down Bolick Lane, turned left onto Rink Dam Road, and crossed directly over Highway 127. The vehicle came to a stop on Hubbard Road at Cascades Drive, where the suspect was taken into custody without further incident. Officers seized about 3.5 pounds of meth. No injuries were reported. The SBI was contacted and is assisting with the ongoing investigation. Carswell was placed in the Alexander County Detention Center under a $1,065,000 secured bond, while Fox was given a $550,000 secured bond. Both suspects will appear in district court on July 28.
The suspect in this case is charged in connection to a fatal shooting last month in Statesville. Multiple agencies took part in the arrest of the suspect. He was brought to the Iredell County Detention Center following his arrest. A court date is scheduled in August. 33-year-old Daryl Jordan was arrested on Tuesday by Statesville police in collaboration with the U.S. Marshals Carolinas Regional Fugitive Task Force. He's charged with murder. Jordan is charged in connection to the June 14th homicide of 25-year-old D'Angelo Malinze Barker of Statesville. On June 14th at approximately 5:35 a.m., officers responded to a report of shots fired in the 100 block of East Allison Street. Upon arrival, officers found a male victim in the roadway with an apparent gunshot wound to the chest and abdomen. Despite life-saving efforts by officers and EMS, the victim, later identified as Barker, was pronounced deceased at the scene. Following the incident, the Statesville Police Department's Violent Crimes and Criminal Investigations units launched an intensive investigation, collecting evidence and conducting interviews that ultimately led to Jordan's arrest. He was found in Huntersville and taken into custody without incident. He was placed in the Iredell County Detention Center following his arrest without bond. A court date is scheduled for August 12th in Statesville. This case remains under investigation. If you have any information, contact Statesville Police at 704-878-3406. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
19-year-old Jaheim Quayshawn Harris of Linview Street Northeast in Lenoir has been arrested and charged with murder. Lenoir police assisted Hickory police officers with Harris's apprehension. Harris's arrest is in connection with a homicide case that began on July 14th when officers responded to reports of shots fired at 1123 2nd Street Southeast in Hickory. Officers found 22-year-old Kimarian Danya Peterson of Hickory deceased at the scene. Harris was jailed today in the Catawba County Detention Facility, where he's being held without bond. A first appearance in court was scheduled today in Newton. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information should contact Investigator Tammy Johnson at tjohnson@hickorync.gov or call HPD 828-328-5551.
A woman faces charges in a case involving the abuse of animals. 28-year-old Kirsten Ray Taylor of Mooresville was arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers. She's charged with 4 felony counts of animal cruelty. On Monday, July 21st, the Iredell County Sheriff's Office was contacted by Iredell County Animal Services regarding a case of animal cruelty. Due to the severity of the allegations and the nature of the evidence, the investigation was referred by Animal Services to the Sheriff's Office. The case originated on July 18th when Animal Services received reports and video footage of abuse by a female employee at a pet grooming business. The video, captured by a concerned co-worker, depicted the employee repeatedly striking and mishandling dogs. during grooming sessions. These dogs were verified to be clients' pets brought in for routine care. The videos revealed at least 4 separate dogs being treated in an abusive manner. The employee was identified as Taylor. Based on video evidence and corroborating witness statements, arrest warrants charging Taylor were obtained. The investigation remains ongoing. Additional charges may be forthcoming as investigators continue to interview witnesses, contact affected pet owners, and compile further evidence. Bond for Taylor has been set at $10,000 secured. A district court appearance was scheduled for July 24th. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
19-year-old Dylan Martinez Clemente of Poplar Circle in Newton has been arrested by Newton police on charges of second-degree forcible rape and second-degree forcible sex offense. Martinez Clemente was jailed Thursday in the Catawba County Detention Facility where he's being held without bond. An appearance in Superior Court was set for July 25th in Newton.
This incident occurred last weekend in Morganton. According to police reports, a juvenile led police on a chase in Morganton. The chase ended when the juvenile crashed the vehicle. The stolen vehicle was returned to its registered owner. At 1:53 a.m. on Saturday, a Morganton public safety officer spotted a gray Ford F-150 operating with no headlights on North Sterling Street near Avery Avenue. The officer caught up to the vehicle on West Union Street and initiated a traffic stop for failure to burn headlights. The driver of the vehicle ran the red light on West Union at North College Street and sped off at a high rate of speed down West Union, reaching speeds in excess of 70 miles per hour. The vehicle chase covered 0.08 miles and ended when the driver lost control of the vehicle near 701 West Union Street and had a minor collision with shrubbery and came to rest against a rock wall. The driver and 2 passengers were detained and all were identified as being 14 years of age. The driver was released to the custody of his guardian, and the 2 passengers were provided with transportation to their residences. The driver and passengers' names are being withheld due to their age. The driver was to be charged with felony counts of flee to elude arrest and larceny of a motor vehicle, misdemeanor damage to property, and traffic counts. According to police reports, the vehicle was not seized. It was returned to the registered owner following the incident. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
50-year-old Marlon O'Neill Dalton of Statesville has been arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers on felony counts of Level 2 trafficking of a Schedule 2 controlled substance, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession with intent to sell or deliver a Schedule 2 controlled substance, and maintaining a dwelling or place for the sale or use of a controlled substance. A search of Dalton's residence on July 24th turned up powdered cocaine, 2 firearms, and $3,000 in cash. The suspect was jailed in Iredell County where he's being held without bond. Dalton was already out on bond awaiting trial on felony counts of attempted first-degree murder, habitual felon, possession of a stolen firearm, and possession of a firearm by a felon. He's scheduled to appear in court on those charges in September, with a court date on the latest charges set for August 6th. The investigation remains active. Additional arrests may be forthcoming.
A Hickory man arrested by Catawba County authorities faces a statutory rape charge. The suspect was placed in jail following his arrest without bond. 25-year-old Quincy Harold Michael of 21st Avenue Northwest in Hickory was arrested Thursday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony statutory rape of a child 15 years old or younger. Following the arrest, Michael was incarcerated in the Catawba County Detention Facility here in Newton without bond as he awaited a Friday district court date. 28-year-old Dakota Lee Farmer of Wittenberg Road in Taylorsville was arrested Thursday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony identity theft and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. Following the arrest, Farmer was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility here in Newton under a total bond of $7,100 as he awaited a Friday district court date. And reporting from Newton, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
A suspect was charged with firearm and stolen vehicle offenses following a reported chase. 20-year-old Julius Dwayne White of Charlotte was arrested by Mooresville police officers. He's charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, speeding to elude arrest, possession of a stolen motor vehicle, resist, obstruct, and delay a police officer, and traffic offenses. On Wednesday, a Mooresville Police Department officer attempted to conduct a traffic stop on a motor vehicle for fictitious registration and equipment violations. The vehicle failed to stop and officers pursued it, which fled south on I-77. During the pursuit, the suspect's vehicle crashed into the median barrier on I-77 in Cornelius. Two suspects fled the vehicle on foot, and after a brief foot pursuit, the passenger was arrested. A Mooresville Police Department K-9 track was conducted, which led to the apprehension of the vehicle's driver. The vehicle was determined to have been stolen from Belmont. A firearm and other tools and items used to steal motor vehicles were recovered from the suspect's vehicle. White was transported to the Iredell County Detention Center, where he received a $75,000 secured bond. A district court date is scheduled for August 14th. The passenger of the vehicle was charged with a misdemeanor offense. I'm Ariana Mack reporting for WHKY News.
This has been our weekly review of a few of the crime stories we had for you during the week of July 21st through 25th. The weekly summary is posted every Saturday on the WHKY YouTube channel, along with our top stories, the crime report, local sports, and community focus. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thank you for watching the WHKY News.